Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. With Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain finally hitting PlayStation Plus, I thought now is the right time to look back at all the Easter eggs, secrets, references, and the weird and wonderful cutscenes which are surprisingly missable during a typical playthrough. I've put together 50 in total, but I'm sure there are so many more hidden secrets and nods to pop culture which I am missing, so please do me a favour and write them in the comments and receive the praise that you deserve. This video does contain one or two mild spoilers, but nothing which will ruin the complex storyline of Metal Gear Solid. Okay, let's do this. In the game's prologue, Awakening, the first Easter egg breaks the fourth wall. Once Snake manages to get to his feet, keep an eye on the notice board and see the Kojima Productions poster used in real life at the 2013 Game Developers Conference, or GDC if you prefer. This was used to recruit devs for the Tokyo and LA Metal Gear Solid teams. A little more product placement can be seen during Mission 1. It's a little hard to spot, but the glasses worn by Revolver Ocelot are in fact donned with the Metal Gear Solid 5 logo. I'm sure you know this already, but press R3 to zoom in during the cutscenes. It's pretty cool. The new companion system allows you to take along a horse, a sniper, and even a dog on each of your missions. Once you develop a strong enough bond with each buddy, your interactions will subtly change. D-Horse will one day feel so comfortable with you that he'll drop brown bullets on command. By the way, my girlfriend walked in on me capturing this footage. It was awkward, but shit happens, I suppose. The only use I can find for Horse Turd is to cover the road and cause vehicles to lose control. Another companion, D-Dog, or DeeDee for short, must be found in the open world. The easiest way to find her is right at the start of Mission 4. Using this landing zone, have a quick scout around and this little crazy bitch will be there.
That wild dog pup. He's a tough little guy. Boss, this is no time to be playing with animals.
Only one thing to do now, Fulton the little bugger. Keep revisiting home base and you'll see DeeDee grow from a pup into an adult. Once your bond is high enough, you'll be able to pet her in the field. Oh, and should you be away from home for too long, she'll be ecstatic to see you on your return.
Snake. Now that would explain it. Sorry. Guess I've been away a while.
And then we come to Quiet. I'm sure you've already figured out the only way to make her your partner in crime is to keep your finger off the trigger at the end of Mission 11. Once your bond with Quiet is high enough, she will poop on command. No, she won't do that. She does things far more awkward, such as provocatively move around the ACC. To look or not to look is your decision. She does more, far worse and weird things, but I'll get to those very soon. But while we're here in the helicopter, press the R3 button and look in the window's reflection. It's a little easier to do this at night, but you should be able to make out the avatar you created right at the start of the game. Extremely subtle, but brilliant, I'm sure you'll agree. If you choose to run the extreme version of the Quiet sniper fight, which is actually Mission 40, you should notice Quiet's change in attire. The eagle-eyed Metal Gear Solid fans will notice she's in fact wearing Sniper Wolf's costume from the original Metal Gear Solid game. If you manage to beat her, then you are now able to research the alternative costume and assign it to Quiet for every mission. By the way, on extreme difficulty, she will avoid supply drops to the head, but she has no answer for an aerial bombardment. Another reference to previous Metal Gear Solid games occurs during Miller's rescue in Mission 1. Once you've returned his famous sunglasses, he'll ask you for proof you are in fact the real Snake. It is important that you're ready to press triangle when he asks the questions, as the prompt does not show up in game.
I've been waiting 9 years to hear him. Kept you waiting, huh? Come on. Say it for old time's sake. Kept you waiting, huh? It's really you, Snake. All these years without you. I knew this day would come.
Those who know Metal Gear Solid will know that Snake and the whole Metal Gear Solid development team actually are notorious for making people wait, and it's kind of a catchphrase these days.
What took you so long? Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh? Kept you waiting, huh?
That guy always keeps you waiting.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Let's go back to Mother Base and you'll notice the occasional orange poster warning of construction work. Stand here too long and... Well, I suppose you were warned. It also works with the nearby NPC, so fill your boots. On your birthday, you'll be summoned back to Mother Base for what looks like an invasion, but in fact, it's a birthday party in your honor.
Happy birthday, congratulations. Happy birthday with salutations. Happy birthday, may your sky stay blue. Happy birthday to you.
Is this a legitimate birthday song? Because it's simply terrible. I guess Happy Birthday to You must have been copywritten.
Happy birthday, Snake.
Happy birthday, boss.
The birthday surprises continue if you have Quiet in your employ, as she kindly writes HBD with an assault rifle. So romantic. I'm not completely certain, but HBD must represent Happy Birthday, right? Alright, so now's the right time to show you what happens when Snake and Quiet earn a 100% bond. Picture the scene. You've been on a sweaty mission for days. It's raining, but finally you're back home. Then suddenly... I don't know about you, but that made me feel so awkward. Anyone else? There's more of Quiet's antics coming up soon, but in the meantime, let's look at book and film references in Metal Gear Solid 5. There are a whole heap of references to the 1984 novel about a totalitarian state written by British writer George Orwell back in 1949. Don't worry if you're not a fan of reading, there's a film version if you ever get the urge. In Metal Gear Solid 5, you'll notice Big Boss is watching you posters scattered around Mother Base. These are taken from 1984, and the theory, or propaganda rather, that Big Brother is always watching every little thing you do. That's also where the TV show gets its title, if you are a reality TV fan. Other references to the 1984 novel come in the shape of 2 + 2 = 5. At this point, I'm certain you've already tried to shoot Ocelot with the tranquilizer gun and found he says a few weird things. This one in particular...
2 + 2 = 5. 2 + 2 = 5.
is in reference to Winston being tortured and slowly being broken down to think how the state want him to.
How many fingers, Winston?
4. I suppose there are 4. I tried to see 5. I wish I could.
It's really quite harrowing, so let's not dwell on it. Oh, and the room where the torture scene takes place? It's Room 101, which is also the name of the torture room in The Phantom Pain. And to bring the 1984 references to an end, Metal Gear Solid 5 begins in the year, you've guessed it, 1984. Have you ever read Lord of the Flies by William Golding? Maybe you were forced at school, or what about the film adaptation? Well, the similarities between Eli's troop of child soldiers in Metal Gear Solid 5 and Jack's hunters in Lord of the Flies are quite impressive. In the Lord of the Flies, a group of English lads are stranded on an island without any adults. They are in fear of the island's monster, which they make offerings to, usually through slaughtering pigs and hogs and attaching their heads to sticks and staffs.
This is a present for the monster.
Well, that's here in Metal Gear Solid 5 too. And the conch shell you'll see on Eli's hip, well, that's another reference to the Lord of the Flies, and the tool used to bring the children together, which slowly became a symbol of power held by the leaders.
Whoever holds the conch gets to speak.
When you finally fight Eli, take a moment to shoot the pig on the platter nearby. You'll be rewarded with this sound. Pointless, but who said Easter eggs have to have a point? Yet another parallel to the Lord of the Flies is the hint that Eli killed a fellow child soldier named Ralph. We don't see it, but we are notified over comms.
There's been an accident in the boys' quarters. A pile of steel pipes gave way and crushed one of the kids. The boy named Ralph. They tell me he died instantly. I'm sorry, boss. It's my fault. I should have been keeping an eye on them. Boss, I'll let you know if we learn something.
Somehow pipes gave way and he was crushed to death. In Lord of the Flies, Ralph is a leading character who fights with Jack. He survives until the end, but another potential leader, Piggy, is crushed to death by his rivals. But this time, it isn't pipes, it's a boulder. One final nod to the Lord of the Flies would have been in the unfinished Mission 51 called Kingdom of the Flies, and it would have brought closure to the story of Eli and the child soldiers, but for whatever reason, we will never get to play it. Such a shame. Shortly after the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, Hideo Kojima, the game's director, left Konami, which likely sees the end of the Metal Gear franchise in the way we know it. Luckily for us, Kojima is in the game, thanks to a side operation in which we rescue a VIP. And the first thing he says...
What took you so long?
Snake, you really need to rectify this reputation. It's getting too far. Another developer that can be found in The Phantom Pain is during the Unlucky Dog mission. His name is Ziang Tan. He speaks English, Chinese, and Japanese, and is a born boaster, or so his stats says. In real life, he was a level designer on Metal Gear Solid 5. Speaking of Kojima and his crew, another video game has multiple references in The Phantom Pain, Silent Hills. Sadly, due to Kojima's departure, this game has been canned. If you don't know, Silent Hills was going to be a first-person horror game that Resident Evil 7 looks like it was heavily based on. During episode 20, or from Free Roam if you prefer, in the area around Gumbo Industrial Zone, a radio will be playing a spooky sounding message.
I will be coming back and bringing my new toy with me. Dad was such a drag. Every day.
This is taken directly from the PT demo of Silent Hills.
The day of the crime, the father went to the trunk of his car, retrieved the rifle, and shot his wife as she was cleaning up the kitchen after lunch.
As too is a cassette playing music just down the road from the last Easter egg. This tape plays music from Silent Hills, and also the name of the cassette, 204863, was an important element in the horror demo.
Stomach, 204863.
Some of the eerie sounds in Silent Hills can be heard at night in The Phantom Pain. The ideal location seems to be Deshago Kalai, sorry if I said that wrong, and sounds like the lighting fittings from the hallway. An early demo version of The Phantom Pain had blow-up decoys in the shape of a ghost, which turned out to be Lisa from Silent Hills. My god, that demo was scary. Let's get back to more random actions by Quiet. Going to visit her in her cell, you'll see her showering. Keep that in mind for later. The cell also plays music randomly. Come at the right time and she'll be listening to the Snake Eater title track from Metal Gear Solid 3. This was created to sound directly like a James Bond theme. It's actually better than many classic Bond songs in my humble opinion, of course. There's a few more James Bond references to find, with the return of the tuxedo from the original MGS. Sadly, at the time of writing this was a DLC option that required real money to unlock. Have you ever watched Goldfinger?
I love gold!
No, Goldfinger, not Goldmember. One of the super badass things Goldfinger does is kill people with gold paint. He calls them his Golden Girls. Well, in MGS5, Quiet can be painted from head to toe in gold paint. But don't worry too much, she can't die in this form. The Phantom Pain is also filled with many costume options. Some seem very random, but others are a nod to the MGS series. Completing all campaign missions with an S rank rewards the player with Raiden from MGS4. The Cyborg Ninja from Metal Gear Solid 1 is here too, and even the PS1 pixelated version of Snake is here for your delights. Quiet can wear the boss's sneaking suit from MGS3, but again that's paid DLC, so let's not count that. Once you've finally been given the codename Big Boss, you can develop the leather jacket, which the description links to the man who sold the world. Both are likely references to David Bowie, and the leather jacket look he was renowned for in the 80s. His song The Man Who Sold the World was used in the intro for the game, and the Diamond Dogs we are all part of is yet another reference to a Bowie classic. Still with me? Let's perk things back up by visiting Quiet again. If you return to home base after a few in-game days have passed, you will absolutely stink and be covered in flies. Everyone's happy to see you, but not so happy to smell you, resulting in Ocelot throwing a bucket of water in your face. But this can be stopped. If you've been working alongside Quiet and you have a strong enough bond with her, she'll step in front and stop Ocelot.
You stink.
And this is where it gets weird. Instead, she will invite you to shower with her while the staff ogle the pair of you. How on earth do I tell her I just want to be friends?
Lucky day. Oh, she's a naughty girl. Oh, yes. Oh, what a windy.
Still on board Mother Base, once you've recovered the AI pod, go have a listen to it over on the R&D deck. It'll say many things, most of which are related to Metal Gear Solid 3, such as multiple references to the boss, Snake's commanding officer in Snake Eater. If you didn't play that game, don't worry, shoot the pod and it will tell you about pi instead.
Pi is equal to 3.2546373698888.
Or even train routes around Japan. There's a nod to the television series The $6 Million Man in The Phantom Pain.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
With the sonic sound Snake's bionic arm gives off when using the sonar or a running punch. Directly uses the superhuman sound from the TV show. Colonel Steve Austin, no not that one, was also a cyborg, a theme that runs throughout the Metal Gear Solid series. While we're here, let's shoot Ocelot again.
That won't work on. I've had drug resistance. LALELULELO.
The LALELULELO is a secret code name for the Patriots, an organisation controlling the world within Metal Gear Solid games. What a stupid name, but I quite like saying it. The LALELULELO. Moving on. If you are having a tough time in a mission, you can die 3 times quickly and be gifted the chicken hat. This little beaut will make soldiers laugh uncontrollably if they spot you. It does make the game slightly easier, but the ridicule isn't worth it, is it? If you die yet again wearing the chicken hat, you'll unlock the little chicken hat, also known as the eggshell hat. This one will make bad guys completely ignore you and forget you were there the minute you pass. It makes the game so easy it's ridiculous, but as an accessory, it's the height of fashion. Oh, we did it! So there you go, there's 50 Easter eggs, secrets, random events, and the strangest actions of a lady sniper. If you've enjoyed this, please give us a like, as this took a staggering amount of time to put together. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you next time.